Hello and welcome to our Agile Hive review in the month of March. As you might have noticed, we are recording this review so that we can put it on YouTube afterwards for people to watch it later. That means you can share this video afterwards with your colleagues. It will be publicly visible by the YouTube search algorithm, or you can find it linked on this page a few days after this review has taken place, because we're going to process the data, cut the video, and add it to the page. In case you do not have access to the review page, you can open your chat. There we have a pinned comment that will give you the link to the review document I am sharing currently. And you can also share that with your colleagues and request access to that document by just dropping us a note in our help desk, for example. It's also linked in the pinned comment. All right. The next review will take place in about 4 weeks' time. That's the 8th of April, 2025. And we will hope to see you there too. And now let's see what the team has been up to in the last 4 weeks. First, our last sprint was our IP iteration, and we were mostly working on improving our demo data that we use for our development purpose and for testing, and we also improved our build pipeline in this iteration. So there's not that much to show to you today, as in recent reviews. But I wanted to tell you that nonetheless. So some things we actually did improve that are of benefit for you. We released, or we are going to release this week, security updates for InstaPrinta and for Custom Epic Panel. Our dependency tracker caught some vulnerable dependencies that we fixed. Also for the Agile Hive app, we updated several vulnerable dependencies because we also did that in our yearly data center approval. As you might know, Atlassian requires us to do a data center approval each year that mostly focuses about performance issues, security issues, usability issues, and stuff like that, so that an app can get a data center approval and can be sold for data center. Right. With that, we also found a known bug. Is it known? I don't know. Nobody ever noticed it before. Agile Hive views were not accessible when you just used HTTP as the protocol to access the web pages. You had to explicitly use HTTPS, but I think that's the standard nowadays, so nobody really found this bug anyway. Anyway, we fixed the error. In case you are using HTTP in the future, you are able to access Jira and Agile Hive anyway then. We're going to release that probably with the version 4.1.1. You might be wondering, where is version 4.1.0? 4.1.0 should be released in this week. We are currently testing that, and we'll be releasing this soon. This will contain the Epic feature that we mentioned in our last reviews. So for anyone of you wondering where that is, it's around the corner. Yeah, and a few other bug fixes we tackled in the last weeks. We had a missing dependency line on our art planning boards that was not rendered, but the dependency was there. This was mostly due to the fact that a child issue was in a sprint that did not have a start and end date. More concretely, the feature, as you might know, is rendered in the last iteration when a team finishes the last story. And this last story was in a sprint that did not have start and end date. And thus the criticality calculation, the colored line that shows the color of the line for the dependency, could not finish correctly, and thus the dependency line was not rendered, but the dependent issue, or the dependent issues were rendered, but the line was not. We are going to release that in the 4.1 update this week as well. And then we had 2 bugs with the custom epi panel that we fixed. One was a quite obscure configuration where a customer had about 1,000+ boards in its configuration, in one configuration. And when accessing or saving that configuration with an Oracle database, that was not possible. Only reproducible on Oracle database, as my developers told me. So but we fixed that error anyway, and also will be released in the next version. The second bug for custom epi panel that we fixed, or will be fixed in the next version again, had to do with, if you remember in our last review, we mentioned that we did compatibility updates for custom epic panel and our other plugins in the Agile Hive suite for Jira 10. And Jira 10 required our requests to have an explicit content length set for that request. This content length, however, was exceeded when there was a non-ASCII character in the summary of issues that would have been shown in the custom epi panel, and thus the request could not finish correctly, and the board did not load. Quite difficult to find, but we fixed that bug anyway, and we'll be releasing it in the next couple of days. As I mentioned before, our last sprint, not the current one, but the last one, was our...
Michael, there was a question now in the chat.
Now there is one. When will you release 4.1.0? As I said earlier, we are testing it right now, and I tested it yesterday too, but we didn't get around to actually putting it in a marketplace, so it will probably be tomorrow or the day after that. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we had our IP iteration, and after the IP iteration, there usually starts a new PI. So I'm going to present to you now what we planned for the current PI, started 2 weeks ago, on the 24th of February, and will go up until the start of June. For our main features that we are focusing on, we want to evaluate libraries and use cases for AI support in Agile Hive. So we are currently investigating which large language models we can use, which services we can access, but also which libraries we can use within Agile Hive to access these services. They will have been, we need to use cloud services. So we want to make it optional for you to use any AI features so that you can opt in or opt out, depending on your policy, if you want to access, for example, Google or OpenAI in the future, and use those use cases only if your policy allows that. So the use cases should be optional use cases. So nothing essential should be calculated by AI. The second major topic we are working on, or we will be working on, is we want to provide the team reports for Kanban teams. As you know, currently our our team report only shows the sprints for each team, but as Kanban teams usually don't work with sprints, we want to provide a more Kanban board-like view for these teams so that they can track their issues with our PI custom field to mark the feature, mark the issue to belonging to this PI, and then it shall be represented on the board via their status. So as a Kanban board would work, and then you should be able to see how many story points the team has planned and how many story points it has in each status, and so on and so on. The next feature, we want to use our team breakout boards to also plan objectives during the breakout session. So the current design of the Breakout board, as you might know, it groups issues by their parent feature using the Agile Hive link, child of and parent of. But we can also do that with objectives. We can group issues by their objectives using the belongs to objective and is objective of link to make linking of stories to objectives much easier and give you an overview of what objectives are planned in this PI, what you want to achieve in this PI. By this, we want to implement a simple switch for the board that will either show features as parents or objectives as parents for issues. So both shall be possible. You can also link stories to your features as well as linking them to objectives with this board then. Is the switch per team? It's always the one team that you access the Breakout board from, like we call that the primary team, you know, that's the one that's only editable during from this board. So that's only, the switch is then only for this team too. So like before, just with objectives. The next issue, you might know that one from last PI. We wanted to show external dependencies also on the team Breakout board, so you can show external dependencies of issues from teams to other teams, to shared service teams, because shared service you can, but to other teams and projects outside of your art. But we did not get around to doing this due to our to the capacity. So we planned this feature again for this PI, showing external dependencies on the team Breakout board, rather than just showing it on the art planning board, which is the next task we're going to tackle. The art planning board currently does not use the information from features from other arts to show those features on other art planning boards. So as of now, you have to enter due dates to other features, to features from other arts, to show them on your arts planning board. And in the future, it should just be possible to show the last sprint information that we have anyway on these issues, to place them on the board. So it's not necessary for you to actually edit the due date anymore. We have a few more questions in the chat. So the first one's from Blaise. Is always objective switch to story, or can we link other types such as features or bugs? It is intended to just use stories and also bugs, etc. The issues from the team level, from the team's project, they shall be linkable to the objectives, as is only possible with the objective link. Linking of features in this view is not possible. You cannot do this, but I think you can just do it with the objective link anyway. But they are not tracked with their story points, as you might know. So on the team report, you will always see the story points from the stories of the team, not for any features. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then a second question from Anton. Is the drill down in reports feature finished? And if yes, which release can we find this? Yeah, I deleted it from this view earlier because it is actually still in a pull request phase. We did some major refactorings afterwards. Yeah, I know. Some major refactorings afterwards, but they should be around done by this week or next week, but it will not be in the 4.1.0 release, as this is not tested within the testing phase of this release. So that is probably for the 4.2.0 release in about 3 or 4 weeks time. Okay, then. Then we'll carry on with 2 announcements that we have. Yes, before that makes the announcement more epic. No. Okay, the first announcement is we will be at the SAFe Summit in Sorrento in Italy at the start of April, at the 7th of April to the 10th. And if you plan to attend there too, and you do not have any ticket yet, feel free to contact my colleague Velin. I have left the email here in the issue, but I can share it in the chat. Yeah, she was quicker than me. You can write her an email if you want to get a voucher for a ticket and if you want to attend there yourself. And the second announcement, we plan on developing a Jira app for budgeting, the Agile budgeting app, and we want to gather interest, especially from you, our customers. And maybe you can, or you want to share your ideas with that, or leave us feature requests for that. If you're interested, leave us a ticket in our help desk so that we can track the interest in this app. And you can drop any feature requests you already have for a budgeting app there, or you can just request a one-on-one so that we can actually talk with you and discuss the idea if you want to. If you have any questions to that right now, I think my colleague Thorsten might be happy to answer anything if you have that right now. Thorsten, you want to go ahead?
If nobody else is asking anything, then perhaps if you have ideas how this budgeting or alignment to strategic objectives could work in your environment, then it would be helpful for us to work on our vision to this part of the Agile Hive. And we would really appreciate to share our ideas of the vision of this tool. And if you're curious what this could be, feel free to contact in the way as Michael mentioned.
Yeah, thank you. All right. I think that concludes our review for today. If there are no general questions or other questions, then, as mentioned before, our next review is going to be on the 8th of April, so in about 4 weeks' time. And we hope we will see you there again. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great rest of the month. And bye-bye.